Hi, everybody. This is Elgin Subwaysurfer Bolling, your creative caricature marketing consultant, coming at you again with part 6 of Making Comics the Easy Way. Have you ever seen this film? American Splendor. American Splendor. Let me tell you why this is an important film that you should get if you're a comic book artist or want to be one. Reason why this film is important, it's the Harvey Pekars story. Now, if you're not familiar with who Harvey Pekars is, well, he's the author of American Splendor, and I'm sure there are sites and people who could tell this story a lot easier than I can. But Harvey, rubbed shoulders with an artist that, has become an icon in the underground comic, the so-called underground comic art scene, and that's R. Crumb. He met R. Crumb when he was a very young, aspiring, up-and-coming artist, and convinced R. Crumb, or rather R. Crumb became interested in illustrating his stories. Now, Harvey Pekars, was he was a writer. He was interested in comic books, but he couldn't draw. Couldn't draw to save his life. But he knew that the comics that he was seeing, at the time, he wasn't interested in superheroes and all of the conventional comics at the time that he was seeing, and he thought that, people would be more interested in the kind of mundane and everyday things, that he was doing. And so he started writing out his story, basically what we've been talking about this whole time in this whole series. He began writing his story and his mundane adventures, and I mean, we're talking mundane. And he would talk about his thoughts, his feelings, he would take you throughout his day, and also the characters that populated his particular world in his office. Well, Harvey got to be so famous for doing this that not only Crumb, but other artists were wanting to tell, or rather wanting to illustrate his story. And it became this whole type of phenomenon, and it all is excellently told in this particular film. But what I like about the film, and you should get it, is that it illustrates perfectly what I was telling about. Here's a guy who had no artistic ability, zilch, none, couldn't draw a straight line, but he had a story inside of him that was burning so much that he just had to tell it, and he found a way to tell it. Okay, now I'm a big fan in not reinventing the wheel. And I say if Harvey could do it, then so can you. If you find out that you absolutely cannot draw, and we'll get into drawing, in other segments, because we've been talking a lot about the story aspect of it. But if you find out that you can't draw, you can collaborate with another artist. We all know of artists who can't write, and writers who can't draw. So this is a classic kind of collaboration type of thing. I suggest if you're going to do this, find an artist who you trust, who's not going to run away with your ideas and, jerk you around. I can't tell you pretty much how to do that, that I haven't thought that through. Let's put it that way. But in Harvey's case, in Harvey Pekars' case, it came out of a relationship, with R. Crumb. He didn't go online or anything like that. It just came out of a relationship, with, hanging around artists and talking about what he wanted to do. So that's one way to get your story out. Another way is to draw it yourself. I've said this before in not in the comic book segment that I'm talking about now, but in other segments that you'll find online. There's this artist named Matt Feazell who draws this comic called Cynical Man. The comic is hilarious. Seeing is believing. This is basically how this guy draws, Matt Feasel. Cynical Man is a stick figure comic. And the writing is so hilarious, so compelling, that you just forget after a while that it's a stick figure. So folks, if you can do this, you can do your own comic. Why is that? Because as important as you think art is, art doesn't drive the story. And that's coming from a guy who can draw, and who can draw very well. Art doesn't drive the story. It's all about story. Art in and of itself, and I know I'm going to step on some toes here, art in and of itself is an aesthetic kind of thing that other people will appreciate, but it won't resonate with people here. Art will not make a connection for you. What's going to make a connection for you is the writing. It's going to come a point where a person will be reading it, and they'll say, hey, I've done the same thing or similar. Hey, I felt the same way. Hey, I've been in that situation, and I reacted in a similar way. Okay? That is what drives the book. The art will complement that. Okay? But it's definitely the writing. Okay? So, I'm going all over the place in this segment, but that's what I really, really want to tell you is, get this film right here. I'm not getting paid. I'm not endorsing it. I don't get a kickback, but this is going to educate you folks. And if you are serious about being a comic book creator and learning how to do it the easy way, this film, American Splendor, is going to give you a lot of inspiration. Trust me on this. This is Elgin Subwaysurfer Bolling, your creative caricature marketing consultant. And hey, that's segment number 6 on making comic books the easy way. And it is easy.